Hey, it's Sam, and I'm here talking about Magha Nakshatra. Magha, the royal seat, the throne of the king. Of course, Magha happens in Leo Rashi from 0 to 13 degrees 20 minutes. We have Magha, the mighty king on the throne. And of course, as always, you must not lose sight of the track. Vedic Astrology, you have Nakshatras and Rashis, of course, occupying the same space as it has been for thousands and thousands of years. I know there's a few people trying to rip the zodiacs apart with this tropical zodiac. Don't listen to that. It's simply not true. And you see clearly Magha, the throne of the king. Certainly it is not in Virgo, which is what it would be in tropical, and it's just a mess. A mess. You don't want to do that. Don't be confused by that sort of stuff. Magha is literally the nakshatra that shows the Pitris, the ancestors, the divine ancestors. And you want to understand something about this nakshatra and the Rashi Leo. Okay? The king is not elected. It's not a democratic, well, let's elect our king. No. No, no, no. Elections are like the opposite sign of Aquarius, where the public decides. The king is given his kingship by birthright from his ancestry. And the nakshatra of Magha is ruled by the Pitris, the ancestors. Now, we have to understand this in its full glory, because it's not just the ancestors who gave birth to you, although that is part of it. It's the divine ancestry, the lineage. It's the power and the teachings and the prevailing wisdom that you as an individual, or a king as a king, represents through that kingdom. Like, for instance, in the United States, we have a doctrine that has come from our ancestors, and we talk about them, the George Washingtons and those who codified the ancestry and the lineage that if we were to have a king, which it seems like we do each year, more and more, our presidency becomes more like a kingdom, or, he becomes more like a king. They're a representative of that constitution and the laws and all of that, from the past, from the heritage, from the legacy. Absolutely nothing but Leo energy. It is the archetype of Leo, the succession that led to the king on the throne. Now, of course, how does this refer to your life? Well, of course, you're the king, or the queen if you're a woman, but you can also feel yourself as a king if you're a woman, because we're both masculine and feminine, and you have something that you rule over. And you have to rule over your kingdom as a sovereign would, with generosity, being magnanimous, and with generosity for others with whom you have power over. So this is why the king is like the father as well. Cancer is like the mother, the sort of heart center of the family unit, and the father is the action center, let's say the breadwinner, all of those kind of things. Again, these are stereotypes, but they are real. The father sacrificing for the family is taking care of his kingdom. And there's something very dignified and glorious about this. I never became a father. I never wanted to, because my creative drives were always stronger, and my kingdom is in the things that I've created. And you see the product of my creations now with astrology videos and all this stuff. But, for a long time I created music. I was a musician. For instance, I would have my own bands. It was kind of like a king in this regard. Like, I wasn't just in bands. I would have my own band. Like, I wanted to start my own band because I wrote my own songs. And my band members were like, not like my children, but this was my kingdom, where I was taking the power that I had and bringing it out into the world. For example, you have your own kingdom, so it's not just parents. Some people aren't parents or they didn't want to be parents, but you can see the same sacrifice that parents make for their family, for example. Like you'll see a father who will sacrifice his own desires and wishes. Maybe the father wanted to be a musician, but then he had children. Believe me, I remember these days. And thinking, oh my God, what if my girlfriend gets pregnant? Then I can't be a musician. Didn't happen. But if it would, I would have put my dreams on hold and then fought to preserve the legacy of my kingdom now. And there's a great dignity in that. And again, this is all Leo energy, the dignity of the king. Or let's say I would have resented those duties. Let's say I wasn't up to the challenge of being a king and taking care of my duties and responsibilities. Again, very Leo. Then the offspring, my children, let's say 20 years later, I have the kids that I run off and go play music. Their ancestry and my relationship with my duties and my kingdom would be really messed up in that regard if I couldn't meet my duties and do the right thing by taking care of my family and taking care of my duties and responsibilities. And the thing to understand is that those qualities of Leo are what bring us the dignity and bring us the power to take care of our progeny. It's not like, well, will he do it or won't he do it? The act of having children itself and being a sovereign and having the power to do that will take you to that level, usually, of responsibility. That's why Leo is a sattvic sign. This is what the sattva is. It's the sattvic power. Just like Cancer was the sattvic heart, which is shown in something like devotion and the mother's love. Not our romantic love for what we want for ourselves, not the rajasic. Again, Leo is not rajasic. It's not, I want what I want for me. It's, I need to do what's right. With the power I have, I need to do what's right. And what's right, once your power creates a child or a being, the right thing to do is to take care of it. And then there's a dignity of putting your own, even your own personal desires on hold to do what's right for the kingdom. And this is what a good king does. He honors the ancestry, he honors the teachings, which is the big part of Leo and Magha as well, in a higher sense. It's where we're willing to be a king to stand up for the highest teachings and the greatest good. And so when we see a bad king, it's someone who is out for himself and who just wants to enjoy the trappings of luxury and not be generous. But in Magha, this is where, again, you see this is the first nakshatra in Leo. It's where the king is established. The king is established through the succession chain. Just like you're born into the power you have, your family is your first power. Whether you resonate with them or not, they taught you things you needed to know. You are born with a certain amount of power and legacy. And this is the origin point of Leo. And the good that you can do with that is up to you. But the thing itself, and Magha itself, is where you are sitting on the throne of your own power. You have power. Whether it came from this family lineage of this lifetime or the lineage of the past, the great teachers and the Rashis of the past. It's the seat upon which you're sitting. And it's from that place of dominion that you are creating your kingdom, whether you know it or not. Look at this, okay? You are following teachings, and based on those teachings and that lineage, you are empowering the world in some way or another. You are giving voice to some power based on your lineage. Maybe it wasn't your family lineage in this lifetime. Maybe it was the great Rashis of India, or the yoga masters, or the astrology text. Who are you giving power to? Who are your great Rashis and teachers? Because that's the throne upon which you sit.